Hello and welcome to the first edition of Down Ladies TV podcast show. I'm delighted to be joined by two legends of the senior Down Ladies management. Gerry, you were with Breda for a number of years. You've many titles.
Yeah, John, with a number of very, very good years at underage, minor, county and Ulster, and then obviously with the seniors over the last couple of years, getting to an Ulster final, a club final, But yeah, it's been good,
Stuff, and obviously Down Ladies legend Kyla, Trainor. Kyla, delighted to have you on the first ever Down Ladies podcast show. So two very distinguished guests. You're with Antrim now, Kyla, so you're a turncoat, or is it just you're sabotaging their hopes?
I think I'm a bit of a turncoat at the minute anyway. Yeah, second year, so threw myself in a bit of, I suppose, at the deep end, just finishing playing and then straight into a coaching setup. But look, I'm enjoying it. It's different. There's a lot more thinking involved.
Paperwork,
yeah, than just get onto the pitch. And when you're on the pitch, you just go and play. But obviously when you're in the management end side of it, it's completely different.
You see, all that abuse you give me whenever I was with RGU, maybe you see it wasn't merited. Do you know what I mean? So
Look, it'll never change. I think I'm just as bad whenever I'm managing, to be honest, because I still think that I'm kicking a ball. Never mind, supposed to be standing at the side, and I think I cross the line more times than enough.
It's hard to lose it.
Yeah, it's hard to control sometimes.
But sure, it's all about the passion and all that there as well.
Yeah.
Gerry, Down are kicking off their All Ireland series this weekend. Do you want to run through the group and how it works and their opponents?
Yeah, well, John, basically there's obviously, unlike the men's football, there's a tiered system with a senior, intermediate and junior. Down in the intermediate, I think there's 13 teams in total, 3 groups of 3, a group of 4 down in with Clare and Louth. And then fundamentally 2 teams come out and hit a quarter final, a semi-final and a final, and that's how it works. So down are up first on Sunday with Clare at home, and then they have Louth away, so 2 wins ideal. 1 win might get you through, but I'm sure one of the guys are looking for a win this Sunday and then move on to 2 wins, top the group, which obviously you would think could give you a more preferential sort of quarter-final draw. But it's the standard is raised, I mean, the intermediate All Ireland is now a tough competition. There's a lot of good teams in there, a lot of teams with good management, good backup, good setup, and there's been sort of a trend, John, over the last number of years where, those who have sort of been beaten in the final have come back the following year, I mean, Westmeath won it last year, and then the year before they were beaten by Meath, who won the All Ireland. Meath the year before that were beaten in the final, and even you go back to, I think it's Tyrone in 2018, they lost the semi-final before it, even back to Clare, or Kildare in 2016, they lost the final before it. So interestingly, Wexford lost last year's final, so I'm sure they're thinking if they can follow the trend, there's a possibility they could come through. But down
what do you put that down to? Is it just that teams have
momentum, and it's a feeling of almost there, that you just lost at the last sort of grasp, and you can go again, I'm sure Kyla's and Antrim's the same, they lost in the All Ireland junior final last year to Wicklow, and again Wicklow were beaten the year before, so Antrim hopefully could come through this year.
No pressure, Kyla.
Well, it'd be great to see Antrim coming good, but anyway, down circle Clare on Sunday, and Clare a tough opposition. I mean, they were in Division 2 in the National League. I just had a look at that today. I mean, in their 3 league matches, they lost to Tipperary by 3, Kerry by 7, and Laois by 5. And they're all good teams. Yeah, they were turned over by Tyrone, a much improved Tyrone team in a relegation playoff. But they'll be looking to right their year and come through. And one interesting point is that, if I get this right, Clare were beaten in All Ireland semi-final last year by, I think it's something like 3-11 to 2-11 by Westmeath, who went on to win it. I mean, a kicking the ball literally in that game, guys, and Clare could actually have won an All Ireland intermediate and now be playing senior football. So, but I'm sure Ronan and Jim and the guys are pretty much aware of that, and I'm sure their homework done. It'll be a good game now. Good game on Sunday. A hell of a game actually, and but Down can do it. Okay.
Gerry, how has the league and the Ulster Championship gone for the ladies?
In the league, I mean, Down. I started off. I think they I get this right. They beat Roscommon by a point, 4-10, 4-9. Then they drew 3-6, 3-6 away to Sligo. Then the last match, 2-8 to 2-4 against Louth. You know, so well organised. You know, kept their shape well. A lot of those games, you know, they got off to a good start, or the opposition got off to a good start, but they sort of managed their way back. And I think it's sort of been a bit of a feature of the Down senior ladies this year that the guys have them stabilised. You know, they have them just in control of game situations as such. You know, and the guys have been very, very brave. I mean, they've used a lot of players, and even when they're in winning situations or leading situations, they still stuck to the process that they're under and played a lot of guys and brought a lot of guys. Because the league in the National Ladies League, it was unlimited subs, John, so you could literally bring on 10 subs, 11 subs, or what you so wished, sort of a post-COVID or out of COVID sort of situation. And Ronan and the guys used that to the max. So a lot of players in the panel have got a lot of game time this year. Fortunately, there last week, whatever, they didn't make it over the line against Tyrone in the Ulster Intermediate. But it's a much improved Tyrone team, and the Tyrone team was good scoring forwards, you know. And Sean O'Kane, who's up the road with Cry Duff, is in charge of them now, and he'll do well with them, so well. So, but again, they're in the All Ireland Intermediate. So if you take the number of teams that have got good potential in the intermediate, it'll make for a very, very, very big competition. But a competition that Down can do well, and you know, and it's like anyone else. If you get a win and then another win, and all of a sudden momentum's with you, and it can take you to wonderful places. But I'm sure this Sunday is as far as I say, Ronan and Jim and co are looking, and it's in Park Esler. It's a home. The guys now can call it their home pitch, because thankfully now it's been opened up to ladies football. We've got game time in Park Esler, so it will feel like a home pitch.
Yeah.
But tough start. But if you get a win, then they're going good, you know.
Kyla, how impressed have you been with the Down campaign so far, and what advice and experience would you pass on to the girls heading into match this weekend?
Yeah, well, I suppose the girls, they've obviously new management in this year with Ronan and Jim and the boys and that, and it does take a wee while to adapt. You know, everybody has different ways that they want to play. Every manager has a different style of football, if you want to call it. So I suppose going on, you know, the campaign of the league, you know, the girls just need to stick to what they know how to do when they're on the pitch, and it'll come down to keeping Clare's scoreline down and turning over possession and punishing it. You know, that's going to be the big thing for them. Obviously they played Tyrone there in the Ulster final, and to me they were very unlucky. You know, Tyrone got a wee bit of a head start on them. They brought Tash on about 15 minutes or 20 minutes into the first half, and then Katrina Caldwell come on in the second half and made a massive difference. So I suppose, you know, if Down played it the way that they can play, you know, being your home pitch, we all know what that means. You know, you're playing at home, you have to make it count. You know, Clare are coming a fair bit up the road, so you'd be hoping that, you know, Down will be a wee bit more fresher, with obviously being home advantage. And you have to make the first game count. You know, you want to get off till a winning start. And once you get that first win, and as you well know, if you're chasing wins, you know, the pressure multiplies, and you don't know what way it will take you. So come Sunday, I would say they'll have done what they need to do, and it'll just be producing it on the day. We as Down have so many talented players, you know, and can play a lot of really good football. So you're just hoping that come Sunday that they'll do that, you know. And
Kind of just on the way this Down are playing, have you noticed a different change in style this year that Ronan and Jim have brought in?
Yeah, I suppose. Well, for my style playing, it's obviously it's a wee bit more technical and a wee bit more of everything else. But you know, it's about it's stopping the players coming through the middle. And, you know, whenever I played, that was obviously, you know, that was the main way that you played everything, just, you know, and you stop the players coming through. Each player and each team has a spine or a diamond that you have, and that's where your strongest players go. So it's about getting the matches right. You know, if we can stop Clare getting that early ball in, if we can stop the run that's coming off the shoulder for the player to shoot and, you know, inside that scoring zone, then they're in with a chance. You know, Down have players that would put their head where you wouldn't put your foot, and that is one thing that we have always had.
Yes.
And I'm sure that'll continue. So, you know, and that's what happened against Tyrone. They found a wee bit of belief from somewhere. You know, they had no right to pull that game anywhere near close, but they did. And they are very unlucky that they didn't sort of take their chances when they got them in the first half. You know, there was a few drops short, there was a few went wide, and it sort of would have, I suppose, closed that gap at half time. But they came out in the second half, and, you know, they came out fighting. So on Sunday, they just need to bring that attitude with them, because they're more than capable. You know, you have to back yourself. If you don't believe that you're going to win on Sunday, then you're not going to. And I think they do have, I think Down have enough leaders on the pitch to know, you know, when they need to step up. And that's, I suppose, the key thing too, is that when the older players step up, take responsibility and take the game, then everybody else around joins in. And it's like any team. You know, if you have someone that makes that one good block, it gives you that extra wee lift. You know, if you take someone on and you get this great score, it lifts everybody. You know, so it's about making sure that when we do get in them scoring zones, that we punish and we take them. But look, it's 60 minutes of football, and you have 15 battles to win on the pitch at any one time. So, you know, regardless whether you're sitting on the bench and you come on, or regardless if you don't get or you start, you still have battles to win. You know, and the training obviously this week leading up to it is important, because that's obviously where you get the mindset. You know, you start focusing on what you've got to do and what your job is.
No, yeah. Jay, you know, obviously Ronan's a Ballymartin man like yourself, and I'm sure he's had chats with you and that. What culture has he brought into the Down team this year? You know, and have you seen a shift in players' mindset as well? That you know, is it a team in transition, or have the more experienced girls stayed around for another campaign?
Oh, John, I totally concur with Kyla's thoughts, you know, on the composition of the team and the leaders on the team. But I think, you know, if you go back to the start as such, I mean, when Ronan and Jim came in sort of last year, I mean, they had a lot of trials, they had a lot of sessions. I mean, they really went to a lot of effort. I mean, they came to a lot of, well, as many matches as possible. And they nursed a number of players who were always good enough and maybe didn't feel the urge to come and play for. So I think the first thing you got to say is that, you know, there's a panel there which is probably about as good as you can get in Down in terms of players that want to play for Down and can play for Down. And as I said earlier, you know, even during the league and all, everyone got game time, and everybody was sort of, an attempt was made to buy everyone into it. If you couple that with the management, you know, in terms of who's there and the effort that who Ronan has brought in with Jim himself, and, you know, I mean, you know, Ronan as such and Jim McGoy, they're top guys, you know, and top guys maybe as much in terms of enthusiasm and what they bring to it. You know, this is probably their lives at the moment, and the effort these guys will put in to try and cover. I mean, I know they've got Rory Burns in, for instance, to cover the goalkeeping, and so every aspect of preparation and enthusiasm. And what Ronan will bring to it is structure, his organisation, his discipline. And his tactical awareness is very, very impressive, you know, and he's brought that through men's football and he's brought it through ladies' football. And he will have a game plan. And as Kyla says, if the guys stay with the process, if they stay with the game plan, you know, okay, yeah, I mean, the ball could be in the back of the down net in the first 2 minutes. But if they stay with the process and stay with what Ronan and the guys have organised and instilled into the players as to how they want to play this game, then I would be quite confident they will see it out, you know. But yeah, I mean, the one thing Ronan will bring to it is enthusiasm. You know, there'll be no stone unturned, no effort, not challenged in terms of sessions, type of sessions, you know, you name it, he will have covered it. And that's the level at Down are at. That's the level they have to be at, because all our counties are at this level. And if you're not at that level, then you're not competing.
Yeah. Kind of what players are you looking forward to seeing then this weekend? Who's going to have a big say in the outcome of the match? Hopefully Clare management aren't watching this, by the way. But
I think that, you've Tyser, who's gonna, I would presume, line out in full forward, who will have been earmarked by Clare, I would presume, and the same with Jessica Foy in centre half. I would say they'll try either and drop a sweeper back maybe in front, when they might play with a third midfielder that will come in and drop, because with them two players, Tyson's obviously been scoring quite a bit. Same as Jess, and Jess is obviously your runner coming from half forward. But that means that there's other people there and other players there that will have their chance, and it's about them taking their chance. Defense wise, Down can work the ball out very, very well. At times against Tyrone, they worked it out at pace and really, really quick. And it was just sometimes a final pass. So, it's just about getting the wee finer things right, and sometimes that doesn't go right in a game, no matter what you do. We've all been there where teams get that wee purple patch, as we call it, and we don't know how to cope with it, and it'll be when Clare do get their purple patch that we slow it down, and if the right ball goes in to Tyson full forward, she'll turn and she'll get her score, but it's just about that pass getting in and at the right time, or playing it to the right side of the forward. Megan Doherty is obviously a strong unit for us, in around the middle, centre half back, so she's going to be very important till it as well, with strength, and driving forward. We have quick defenders that'll break, so whether we use them or not, till our advantage, I suppose, on Sunday will play a massive part, because obviously it's changed. Before you got the ball in full back and you kicked it to midfield and then you kicked it in. Whereas now,
and you were usually standing there, Kyla.
That was, well, as I got older, that's where I went anyway. But now it's obviously all changed, where it's running off the shoulder and like a domino effect of people falling back in round, and having, if the ball does break, having the likes of Megan or Dur, or someone who's going to talk, or someone who's going to drop back, it's going to be very important, because coming from Division 2 and in ladies football, I suppose, when you look at the divisions of Division 1, 2, 3 and 4, you do see that difference. You can see the difference between Division 1 and Division 2 and 3 and, even 3 and 4. So it's about, obviously Clare will have had less time in the ball, being in Division 2, Down the same, so it's about taking the game to them. But look, I have no doubt that Down will do what they have to do.
Good stuff. And hopefully on Sunday then we'll be talking about a win in the next episode as well. Folks, since I've got you on, Kyla, you're an exceptional footballer for Down and RG. How has the transition gone from being a coach? And as I said, is it you're still kicking every ball on that, but how is that the paperwork, as I call it, dealing with players and the admin side of it?
Yeah, well, I suppose I played football for so long. I played county football for Down Ladies from I was 14, and I didn't stop till I was 29. So it was a long time. So I suppose it was a massive part of my life. You go to weddings and you come home and you go to birthdays, you miss so many, it's like a full-time job. And obviously as from I have stopped, it's progressed even more, where there's a lot more demand on ladies footballers. But I mean, I jumped into the deep end very, very quickly after I did stop playing. I don't think I could have sat about anymore. I still feel like I can play. My mind says yes, you can go, but the body says no. It's one of them ones, and I suppose that it's just from playing for so long. But I'm very blessed with the team that I have in Antrim, that it's been a nice, easy transaction from playing to managing. And the girls are great. They give everything they've got, and people take for granted how much time goes in till playing or managing. Unless you've done it, you don't understand how many hours actually goes in. And as a player, you went to work, you planned what time you would be to training and where you would have to go and what you would, because, you know, you didn't get fed after or anything like that. So you had to plan everything in advance, and you were maybe going to Newry 3-4 times a week, you know, and as a man, you know, as a coach now, you're still planning, you know, you don't just turn up to training and, oh, sure, we'll do this tonight and we'll do this here and we'll maybe throw in a bit of this, you know, everything's planned, you know, you have to have a purpose and a reason for doing a drill or a condition game. So I suppose that takes up a lot of time. And then obviously, if, you know, for example, and I'm sure the boys have done this, you know, they're playing Clare on Sunday, you know, they'll have watched countless videos, they'll have tried to plan, they'll have watched all the league games of how Clare are setting up, and they will have planned weeks around, well, we're going to set up this way. And, you know, it does take a lot of time. You do maybe 7, 8, 9 hours of planning, and you train for an hour and a half, you know, but they're the things you do, you know, and you wouldn't do it if you didn't enjoy it. So it was hard changing county because I was there for so long, and it did take me a while to put an Antrim jersey top on. But, you know, I suppose it has to be done. That comes with the job that you're in now. But I'll always be down, and that's just it. But it's, you know, it's changed. Everything's changed. Nutrition's changed. The way you play has changed. You know, even pre-season has changed, where, you know, our pre-season was, and yours was probably the same, where you ran around Castlemaine Lake, or you went up Tollymore, or you just ran somewhere where there was somewhere to run. Whereas now, you know, you've got your gym programs and you've got your progression of that, and, you know, you've got your nutrition where it comes in, and your hydration, and, you know, there's all different things that are in now. And then obviously it changed this year, where, you know, you played your league football and then very quickly you were in the championship, you know. So before, you would have had that maybe 6-7 weeks till, you know, and as you know, you go back and you do more of hard training, get the miles back on the legs, and then work a bit on your speed and whatever else, whereas it's just one after the other, you know. So in a way, it's good that it was condensed, because, you know, players weren't strung out, and there wasn't, you know, some, you know, picking up wee niggles from maybe going back to doing that long running. So in a way, I think it's good. I mean, it's all going to be over by the July, you know, so that's 2 months, well, about 6 weeks less of what you would have been doing. So I suppose in that way it has changed, because I know the year that we won the All Ireland, you know, we didn't play the end of September. So, you know, and we were going from the October. So it was 11 months, you know, that we had trained for the year that we won the All Ireland. So there was there's a lot of work and a lot of effort that goes in. Even at Christmas, you know, you were training the day after Boxing Day, you know, but you do it because you want to do it. So I would say it's changed that way. But, you know, I don't think that when you're playing county football, they're the friends that you have for life. And, you know, you couldn't put a stamp on that. You know, you couldn't put anything.
How was that All Ireland run, Kyla? Like, how can you sum it up, or like, has the celebration stalled the memories of that time again?
The memories will never, they'll never go, because, you know, it's something that as a Gaelic player, that's what you want. You know, you want to play in Croke Park. You want to do what you have to do to get there. And I suppose it came at the right time for me, because I had been playing for so long. We had been beaten in an intermediate final, 2000, and can't even remember what year it was, against Roscommon, and we were beat by a point. You know, but that final wasn't even played in Croke Park. That final was played in Mullingar. You know, so I had lost one to win one. So when we won, it was everything that I ever wanted. You know, I had wanted that forever, because Down Ladies had won their first one in 2000, and I played at halftime. You know, they played Galway, and they had an amazing team then as well. You know, but it was hard work. It was physically draining, it was mentally draining, but it was worth it. you know, but obviously we played Fermanagh. And we had a massive scoreline against Fermanagh. We were so fit. We had trained so hard that we were just ready for it. And we knew what we were doing. We had a game plan. We stuck to it, and we reaped the rewards of it. You know, it was nice. You know, we had played Fermanagh, I suppose, God, that year we had played them maybe 3 or 4 times. You know, we had already played them in the Ulster Championship, and we had beat them then. And then obviously we had the run of the All Ireland then, and we ended up playing them in the final. And you know, it was magical. See, even just to get that score. You know, you always say, God, I'd love to stick a wee ball over a bar in Croke Park, and you know, and just do what you have to do. And thankfully that day I did. I scored a couple of goals and a couple of points. So I haven't got that. Oh, we're playing in Croke Park, it didn't score, and I was a forward. You know, sometimes that comes back to haunt you a wee bit. But no, look, I would still look back, and you know, the photographs will pop up, and it takes you back to, you know, that day, that week leading up to it, the pressure that you feel, you know, but the relief when you do what you got to do, you know. And even seeing Mummy and all after, because obviously as I was younger, like they had to bring me everywhere, you know, so it was nice for them to
real family, real family occasion as well, isn't it?
There's so much, like, because there's so much effort goes in from parents, and you know, they're sort of then at the side, and it's good for when you do get that win or that achievement, no matter what it is, that you say, look, I've got that medal now, that'll do me. I'll hang up my boots. Will not worry about it anymore.
Gerry says it's so nice, like just a couple of goals and a couple of points in Croke Park. Like, it's not too many people can say that, is it?
Right, John, lost.
Kyla, she says it's so naturally, a couple of goals and a couple of points in Croke Park. Like, it's
absolutely. No, that was a massive win, and a great win, so it was, you know. And Kyla got a save when she came on, with a big difference that day, like lifted the whole thing and brought it home, you know. But that's the challenge ahead for the guys now, you know. And just one thing, John, just when Kira was mentioning last night, was about to sort of mention, you know, that the sort of the underage teams in Down this year, and the sort of the success they've had, you know. And if I get this right, the under 16 girls got the Ulster bronze final and defeated Fermanagh in that, which is a great achievement. The under 14 girls got the All Ireland final platinum semi-final against Cork, and had a great run, you know. So it's when we're focused here on the seniors tonight, it's brilliant to see the underage teams and the serious work. I mean, some of the setups and some of the management groups for the underage Down teams and ladies football, most impressive, and the effort to put in, the training regimes they have for the guys is very, very impressive. And I think
Gerry, how much change have you seen in your time involved in ladies football as well? You know, as you said, the underage structures and the coaching and the admin as well that goes on in there as well.
Well, I think that's it, John. The key word is structures. You know, I mean, years ago, I mean, you could not fault the effort by people, and it was more times than not individual people taking down underage teams. I mean, and to be applauded for the effort they put in. But now you find with underage teams that they come with a package. You know, there's 3, 4, 5 guys, there's physios, there's all this sort of equipment that you need to deliver a team. And there's great buy-in, there's great emphasis on sort of days out, you know, sort of recreational days, team bonding, you know, all these things that wouldn't have happened so much years ago. And you find it, and it's great at under 14, 16, because the girls themselves see, as in any other code, they see that, you know, the guys from other clubs, well, they aren't what they thought they were. They're actually good crack, they're actually good fun, and they become friends, and they move up to the system. And that's something that, you know, other counties are doing it. And Down are doing it very, very well at the moment. And you know, it'll bear fruit in 5, 6, 7 years' time, when you've guys playing for Down seniors who have come the whole way through, and part of a good development evolutionary program from under 14 up to under 16, you know. And you know, leagues football do it well, you know. I mean, what is a platinum final? You know, it's irrelevant. It was a Northern Ireland semi-final, and it meant the world to those girls, because I know the parents and I know some of the girls were involved in it, you know. And it was a brilliant trip they had over the summer to get to the Northern Ireland semi-final, and to play a Cork team, a very, very powerful Cork team, as you imagine, you know, but did very, very well, performed very, very well, and come like Kyla was saying, will come away already at that age with brilliant memories of playing for Down, and that's what instills the sort of confidence and the faith and the want to play for, as it is in our case, Down ladies football. So yeah, well, Sunday's a bit clearer, and obviously the discussion's a bit clearer, but it's very, very important to be aware of what's happening down the line, so to speak, of what's coming hopefully over the hill in the future, you know.
That's very important to have that production.
Very important. You know, and the more effort goes into the underage, it's like any setup in any club. You know, your grassroots is what you need. And you know, when I played, it was our training ground was Ansborough.
Yeah.
You know, that's where that was.
I can remember bringing my daughters to Ansborough under 14, 16 and minor, you know, and there was no toilets, John.
No.
You had to wait and go to Brennan's to go to the toilet, you know. And I think it was Emer Mill started, they went to play Tyrone in Garvahe, and she came out afterwards and she couldn't get over, there was heat in the changing rooms, you know.
Yeah, we've, you know, it's came so far.
Yeah.
We trained in Ansborough, we trained in we trained in many places. And obviously now it's different that obviously the girls are now able to play in Park Esther. And I would say in all the time that I played for Down Ladies, I played in Park Esther twice. One was a league match and one was a championship match against Tyrone. And that so happened because the Tyrone match happened because the men were playing the same day, and the Tyrone had asked for a double header with their ladies, and we got to play, and the same happened in the National League match. It was against Leitrim, so I got to play there twice in all the years that I played for Down Ladies. So for them, for Down Ladies to now say that Park Esther is their home pitch, it's brilliant, because at the end of the day, that is the county ground. You know, we play the majority of our matches either in Downpatrick or Saville, you know, and the two clubs, that's where we played the majority of our matches, was between them two clubs. We played a few matches in Burn, but if it hadn't have been from them, you know, we didn't really have much of a choice where we were playing. You know, whatever pitch was free, that's where we played our matches on, you know. And to now say that the girls get to run out in Park Esther it's a massive achievement, you know, and it's your county ground. That's where you should be playing. You know, you're as much as a county player as the men or as the minors, or, you know, even the 14 girls. Everybody should get to play on the county pitch, and it's great. It's great to see.
No. What time, Gerry, is that match on Sunday then? And
I think it's
half
three.
Half three.
Half three.
Yeah.
Sunday, Park Esther. Gerry, just a last word then on yourself. What do you see the future for Down football? You know, what would you like to see in place in the short term?
Well, I think, John, just to follow on what I was saying there in terms of the underage, I mean, the underage structures at club level, I mean, you asked what has changed over the last, say, 10 years or whatever, and certainly the number of clubs now playing is one of the biggest changes, you know. I mean, I remember remarking at the under 14 Down team, there was players, I mean, great clubs, I mean, Slanabana, Dromara, you know, Mere Bridge, Wormpoint, you know, people coming, young girls coming through from these clubs, you know, and that's the biggest change, and a big change. It's certainly at underage. I think as you move up, then it's all about commitment, and you've got to stating the obvious, you've got to compete with other counties in their preparation and what they're doing. And certainly, you know, if you look at Leinster, for instance, you know, there's a lot of legal money and etc. that's going into those counties that isn't as transparent, obviously, in the north here as such. So, you know, we got to prepare and we got to deliver on the training pitch as these other counties do, to be at the same level. And it's not a cliche, but if you stand still at county football, you go backwards. And you see what happened in men's football, and the exact same thing that's happening now in ladies football. But there's good guys there at the moment, John, in Ronan, I say Ronan, Jim, you know, and the rest of them. Very, very, I mean, good management at this moment in time to lead Down forward. So I'm sure they're for like 3 years, have had really the first year getting the feet onto the table, getting things moving, and hope they can build a knot. And Down can move forward. I mean, there's no reason why Down, and not pressuring people why Down can't make it out of the group. And once it's a knockout system, you know, and it's on the draw and it's on the day, you know, and to say it's like Clare last year in the semi-final, you know, beaten by a goal by Westmeath, you go on and win the All Ireland. And that's what can happen to teams. And if Down can just build on it and move forward, and it's possible. And once you get up there in the senior level and stay in senior level for a season or two, then you're on a different level. And that's what you'd like to see Down football at senior level in a matter of years, and it'd be powerful. That would bring the whole thing upwards.
Yeah, brilliant.
No
Folks,
pressure.
that's us. No pressure, Gerry, as right. No pressure. Folks, that's us for the first episode. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is going on to the Down Ladies YouTube channel, so get their comments in. Give Gerry and Kyla plenty of abuse as well. Any questions, I'm sure they'll answer them for you as well, and you will be definitely on the show again. Folks, thanks for your time and expertise, and best of luck, and I hope to see you there on Sunday. Cheerio.
Cheerio, thanks, Sean.
Thank you.